Good morning, Union Club members. Chef Nicolas here, coming to you from kitchen of my condo. Interesting times that we have going on right now. I think everybody is at home trying to find things to keep them occupied and fill their day. I thought that doing some cooking videos over the next couple of weeks might be a good way to keep us all engaged and in the kitchen. It's a good time to be cooking up at home with your family. So today it's about 9:30 in the morning right now. And I feel like it'd be a good time to make some breakfast. So we're going to start off with our first recipe. We're going to work on kind of a version of an Eggs Benedict, but we're going to do poached eggs on some sourdough with some wild smoked salmon and a little bit of Hollandaise sauce. First things first, we're going to make our gastrique, which is the acid base to our Hollandaise sauce. The acidity is very important in a Hollandaise sauce. You're going to put it over a couple of poached eggs. Egg yolks are very rich. You need that acid to help cut through the egg yolk. I should mention that this sauce doesn't necessarily need to be done with eggs. It can be done on a lot of different things. Piece of fish, nice grilled chicken breast, or you can do a variation of the Hollandaise sauce and add tarragon vinegar and a little bit of chopped tarragon to make a béarnaise sauce, and that will go well with a grilled piece of meat, steak, maybe some prawns for your next dinner party and really elevate things. So we're going to get started here with the gastrique. So typically I would do about one shallot, a little bit of peppercorn, and some bay leaf. I didn't have any shallots today, so I'm just going to use some white onion that I had in the fridge. And I'm going to add that to a pot. I'm just going to put it into a bowl for now with a bit of peppercorns and the bay leaves. And then we're going to add our vinegar. I'm going to use a champagne vinegar because that's what I have right in my house, but really you can use anything. White wine vinegar works well, apple cider vinegar works really well. So we're going to do 1/3 of a cup of apple cider vinegar, and we're going to do 1/3 white wine. This is just a French muscadet that I had left over in the fridge that I didn't finish the other night, so I thought it would be good to save for some cooking. Alright, so now we have all our ingredients for our gastrique. I'm going to go ahead and add this to a pot, reduce it by half, and we're going to mix that. Alright, so I'm done making my gastrique for the Hollandaise sauce. Now it's time to separate our egg whites and our egg yolks and get started. I'm going to use about 3 egg yolks for about ½ pound of butter. It's going to give the Hollandaise sauce a nice rich yellow color. Had an opportunity yesterday to go out to Machosen, grab some fresh produce from one of the stands there. Picked up these beautiful farm fresh eggs that were just laid yesterday. Just going to help us make a really good sauce. Really important to be out shopping local. If you have a friend or a neighbor or somebody you know down the road that's growing something or producing something, it's a good opportunity right now to go out and support and shop local. So we're going to go ahead and separate our whites from our yolks. Just crack the egg on the side there. And carefully, oh look at that nice egg yolk, separate those off just like that. Alright, so in this bowl here we have our 3 egg yolks and 2 tablespoons of our acidic reduction. We're going to go ahead and put that over a pot of boiling water. We're going to do a double boiler, and we're just going to whisk and whisk and whisk. We're going to bring this to temperature. You kind of par cook the egg yolks and bring them up to about 160 degrees. It's going to pasteurize them and kill off any bacteria and set us up to start incorporating our butter. Alrighty, so I've got my egg yolks whisked up and ready to go here. You can see that they have a nice kind of thick, silky texture now. The bowl is nice and warm. It's ready to start incorporating our butter. Now this is something that you want to do slowly to begin with. You want to build your emulsification with the butter and the fat. It's 2 things that don't typically go together. So we're going to start off really slow. Just drizzle that butter in nice and slow, building that emulsion. Ready before you start adding large amounts of butter. If you go too quickly, the butter's not hot enough, or your egg yolks aren't right, you will split the sauce and have to start over. Alright, now that we have the butter incorporated into our egg yolks fully, we can go ahead and finish this sauce off with a little bit of seasoning. I like to keep mine pretty straightforward. A little bit of salt, some Worcestershire, and a bit of Tabasco sauce just to give it a little bit. I've got all my seasoning in the bowl here. Let's give it one final taste to make sure where we want to be. Just a little bit more salt. Delicious. All right, I'm going to put this aside. I'm going to keep it somewhere relatively warm. If it cools down too much, our sauce could split, so I'm just going to put this back over by the stove while I get ready to poach. All right, now that our hollandaise sauce is done, we can move on to poaching our eggs. Poached eggs are something that everybody orders in a restaurant, but for some reason not a lot of people make it at home, and I'm not sure why. It's very easy to do, and I'm going to go ahead and show you right now. So I've got a pot of water that I've brought up to a simmer here on the stove, and we're about 4 inches deep. And we're going to add a little bit of vinegar. It's important to add vinegar when we're doing a poached egg like this, as you need the water to be acidulated, which means have some acid in it. That's going to help keep the albumin proteins, the egg white, together when you put it in here to poach, so it doesn't just spread out all across the bottom of the pan. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm just going to add a couple tablespoons. You don't need very much. That's probably good. You can use any vinegar again. A cheap white vinegar is totally fine. I'm going to use the champagne because that's what I have. Alright, so water is at temperature. What we want to do when we put the eggs into this is we need to give the water a little bit of a spin. Spinning it and creating that vortex in the pot is going to help that egg white wrap around the egg yolk and give it that nice circular ball shape that we're looking for in a poached egg. So go ahead and give this a light spin, just like that. And I've got my eggs separated into a bowl just to make it a little bit easier. And I'm just going to go and pour those into the pot and watch the egg white just wrap around the egg yolk, creating that nice poached egg shape. I'm going to return this to the stove. All right, well, our eggs are poaching. They're going to be at about 3.5 minutes, I was saying, for a nice soft egg. If you want something a little bit firmer, you go about 5 minutes, it'll give you a medium egg, and 6 minutes and after, it'll give you a nice firm egg yolk if that's what you're after. While that's cooking, we're going to get started on assembling. I've got a nice piece of sourdough here that I've already toasted, and I'm just going to go ahead and add some of this beautiful smoked salmon that I found in the market, lox on top of here. Then we're going to put our poached eggs on it and finish it off with the hollandaise sauce. So I'm just going to arrange this salmon on here to cover everything up. And it doesn't really have to go on there in any particular way, as long as it's got some nice wavy texture to it. Give it a little bit of depth. Awesome, there we go, lots of smoked salmon just the way I like it. So when I was out in Machosen yesterday, I was able to stop at Uminami Farms and pick up this beautiful Mizuna that they had growing in their greenhouse. I'm going to pick a little bit of it off today, dress it with a little bit of olive oil, and just use it as a finishing little salad on top for a nice refreshing addition to our breakfast here. So just cut the end off it like so, a nice little bunch, toss it in the bowl. I'm going to dress this, a little bit of nice extra virgin olive oil. There we go. A little bit of salt, some pepper. I'm just going to give it a splash of that champagne vinegar that we've used along the way in here, just to give it a little bit of a finish. There we go. Move that around just to give it a dress, and she's ready. All right, so our poached eggs are done. Nice consistency there for a soft egg. I'm going to go ahead and I'm just going to use a spoon, put those on top of our salmon here. I'm going to finish them with a little bit of salt and pepper, always. Like that. And then we're going to take this beautiful hollandaise sauce that we made together earlier, and we're just going to spoon some of this. Oh, delicious. Spoon some of this right over top of our breakfast here. Should have a nice consistency to it where it kind of starts pouring off the side, but not too runny. You want it to really cover the top of those egg yolks. All right, now we're just going to finish it off with some of our salad here as a garnish. And that's it, we're finished. We've got our toasted sourdough here with wild smoked salmon lox, some nice poached organic free-range eggs, a little bit of hollandaise sauce, and just dropped it off with a bit of fresh Mizuna that we dressed with olive oil and champagne vinaigrette. Let's go ahead and cut into it and see how we did on our eggs. Perfect, just the way I like it. Nice runny egg yolk coming out of there. This is going to be a good breakfast. Alright everybody, thanks so much for watching. Stay tuned over the next few weeks. We're going to continue to post more and more videos. Later this afternoon we're going to do William making cocktail over at the club. If you have anything that you want to see us make, please feel free to leave it in the comment section below. And until then, we'll see you next week.